Hello and welcome to AR Highlights at AWE Asia 2023. I'm Stacy and I'm delighted here to actually be with the co-founder of AWE Global, Ori Inbar. Before we kind of get into the history of AWE, Ori, could you give us just a quick background on yourself?
Hey everybody. My background is in software. Over the last 20 years I've been developing internet software in the 90s for enterprises. Startup that I was part of got acquired, so I spent some time with SAP, one of the largest software companies in the world. But in 2007, I discovered augmented reality. And then it became my passion, and I felt that although it was pretty obscure at the time, that my mission in life, my passion would be to try and bring it to the masses. And that's actually how AWE started.
And bring it to the masses you have. So tell me more about the kind of origin story of AWE. How did it start, and then how did it grow to where it is today, and especially kind of expanding to Asia?
Of course. So in 2009, I started a startup called Augmento, which developed AR games. And it was pretty lonely in the AR space at the time. There were just maybe a handful of startups all over the world. So we wanted to get together, in one room, share some ideas, work together to help really bring this industry to life. And that's how the idea for AWE started. So we joined forces with a few other entrepreneurs. We picked Santa Clara as the space where we were going to meet. We had like 300 people in the first conference.
Not too shabby.
Not too bad at all, yeah. And actually, not just entrepreneurs, but also some of the biggest brands in the world participated. Of course, companies like Google and Qualcomm were already there. So it was the beginning of something. But of course, back then, it was mostly talking about ideas and concepts. And then over time, we started to see a lot of these ideas convert into real products. It started to grow. So the next year, it was 600 people, and the next year, 1,000 people, and on and on. And today, 14 years later, we're looking at almost 10,000 attendees across our different events around the world. We started with 15 companies in the first year that took the space of the size of the Qualcomm booth this year. So it was just incredible to see the growth and how far the XR industry has come since then.
That's amazing. Speaking of growth, expanding into Asia, what did that look like when you first started it, and kind of how has that story and experience been for you through today?
So pretty early we realized that probably the biggest market for XR is going to be China, just by this sheer mass of population and companies and technology. So in 2015 we started our first AWE Asia. We ran it first in Xi'an, then in Shanghai, and some other cities, and then of course the pandemic hit in 2020. That's when we started working with Sunrise, and so the last 3 years I wasn't able to join in person. I had to deliver my keynote remotely, which was very sad.
But fun too to have the holograph version of Ori.
Of course, and then this year, finally, in Singapore. It allowed us all to kind of be here and have a more international event in its nature.
Right.
And I was so excited to be able to be here in person and meet everybody and meet the team that is behind the event in the last 3 years, and really see how successful it has become.
That's amazing. So how has AWE Asia Singapore been so far for you? How does it feel to be back?
It's amazing. I have to say I've been blown away by the quality of the team that is putting together this event, and the exhibitors. It's obviously smaller than the event in the US, but the diversity, the number of countries involved, the number of the different types of technologies is just staggering. I love to see. I was able to speak with every single exhibitor this year, which is something I never get a chance to do. And the talks, they're all packed.
Yes.
The track sessions, the main stage, all really high quality speakers. So it's really fantastic to see how this event has evolved.
This will be a hard question, but if you had to pick one session or exhibitor that's kind of blown you away, who would that be and why?
It's hard because I feel like all the exhibitors, all the speakers are kind of all my kids. You can't pick whose kid is, which kid is
Pick your favorite
the
kid.
nicest. However, at the event wrap-up today, we have the hard task of picking the Augie Awards winners, the
Yes.
best in show for this event. So I can't reveal it just yet, but you'll hear it in a couple hours.
Sounds good. We'll look forward to that. In the meantime, why do you think Asia as a region, like how do you see AWE Asia evolving in the next few years? What do you think that Asia as a region can uniquely contribute to the XR community?
So we started the Asia events in in China because it's really the largest country with the most population and probably the largest industry. However, I see a lot of value in doing this event in Singapore, again, because of the diversity, because it can really become more international in nature. I heard some really interesting comments and insights from some of the attendees and exhibitors that, in China, everybody knows everybody and they get to meet each other in various Chinese event in Chinese. And here they get to meet the world.
Yes.
And that's also an opportunity for people, we just heard from some folks from the United States and from Europe that come here to meet some of the big players, like Niantic and Snap and Meta, because actually they have a bit more bandwidth in this event. So you can get some more of their time here at this event. And I heard about a lot of partnerships that already emerged from this event. Customers that have found some solutions that they want to adopt in their companies. So you see a lot of businesses actually happening here, and a lot of people are learning a lot of new stuff about what's happening in industry here and all over the world, and that is why we're doing this.
That's fantastic. You have a couple catchphrases, or I could call them, I guess, Orisms that you mentioned in your opening. Could you tell us what it means to you when you say XR is everywhere or find all in everything?
Yes, I started the opening today similar to how I started the event in the U.S. With the huge impact that AI had on the world and also on the XR market. And so one thing that I wanted to kind of point out during this opening is that AI is actually a good thing for XR. It accelerates XR. It's tied very closely with XR. And XR could be seen as sort of the face for AI, right? So I think that's a really interesting insight that we'll see evolve even more in the next few years. But regarding the XR is everywhere, kind of like my shirt is saying, we're at a point where XR is really appearing everywhere. You see it in every vertical. You see it across different consumer use cases all over the world. So, AWE or awe is also a synonym for wonder. And we kind of use it as a synonym also for XR. So if you look around, you can find XR anywhere. And you can also find, hopefully, AWE and the community that is building XR everywhere, in the events, like the event here, but also in meetups all over the world, now in over 35 cities around the world. And the last thing I want to say is that, over the last maybe 6 or 12 months, with the rise of AI, many people were in the media started kind of questioning the viability of the XR industry. And it was important to give back the confidence to our community that this industry is growing and is already a significant power in the world. The fact that it's a $38 billion industry this year, so this is not a prediction, it's actually happening right now. It's something that I think is reinforcing a lot of people in the industry. And it's everywhere. It's a major force all over the world in various verticals, enterprises, consumers, and we should be all proud of the achievement so far and get ready for even more growth that we're expecting in the next few years.
Well, I'm sure that this expo has done exactly that, provided that confidence and reinforcement to all of the people who've attended here. Which brings me to my last question. What do you hope that attendees at AWE Asia kind of take away the most from this expo this year, whether that's from sessions or exhibitors? I mean, besides everything that you just said, which of course is probably the main message, that XR is everywhere, what else do you hope that people walk away from later tonight?
Yeah, it's the three key things that we expect people to take away from the AWE events is to learn, to connect, and grow. And again, I think the participation in the sessions and the quality of the speakers here this week was phenomenal. So it feels like a lot of people have learned quite a bit from this event. And connecting, I mean, the reason we're doing this in person and not online is so that people can connect in person. And wherever you go around this event, around the venue, you see people talking with each other, connecting, exchanging information. And that's a huge value of this event. And finally, it's growing. And growing, it means, growing personally. It's growing some of the startups or the businesses that are here can really grow and help this whole industry grow together. And I think that's really another important message we want to send, and we're seeing it happening here as well, is the fact that we all need to collaborate. We, as in all the XR industry people, need to collaborate to help really advance this industry. XR is hard, but as we work together and we make sure that we fill all the gaps and the aspects of this ecosystem, it will be successful, and we'll help improve the world and make it a better place.
Well, I think that's a great note to end on. Ori, thank you so much for your time. And this has been AR Highlights from AWE Asia 2023.
Thank you, Stacey.